What if animals could talk? It's a question that has tickled the human imagination for centuries, a whimsical notion often relegated to children's stories and fantastical tales. But let us, for a moment, cast aside the realm of fiction and truly ponder the profound implications. Imagine a world where every chirp, every roar, every purr carried meaning. A world where the silent majority suddenly found their voice. This isn't merely about understanding a pet. It's about a complete, irreversible alteration of life as we know it. A seismic shift in our ethics, our science, and our very understanding of consciousness. The core premise is simple, yet utterly revolutionary. The unlocking of animal secrets, a direct line to their thoughts, their feelings, their experiences. This would not just be a scientific breakthrough, it would be a spiritual awakening, forcing us to confront our place in the grand tapestry of life. We are about to embark on an exploration of this hypothetical reality, delving into the real implications, the potential realities, and the unforeseen consequences. Prepare yourselves, for the world we are about to imagine is both wondrous and terrifying, a true paradigm shift. The moment animals began to speak, humanity would be engulfed by an information flood of unprecedented scale. Imagine the sheer volume of knowledge pouring forth from every species, a cacophony of voices revealing millennia of untold stories and observations. From the deepest oceans to the highest mountains, every creature would become a living library. Our understanding of ecology and conservation would be utterly transformed. Animals could directly inform us about the health of their ecosystems, pinpointing the precise impacts of climate change and detailing the threats to their species with chilling accuracy. No longer would we rely solely on observation, we would have eyewitness accounts from the very heart of nature. Medical discoveries would accelerate at an astonishing pace. Animals could share insights into natural remedies, reveal secrets of disease resistance, and perhaps even unlock pathways to longevity that have eluded human science for generations. Imagine a badger explaining the properties of a particular root, or a whale detailing its immune response to deep-sea pathogens. The revolution in psychology would be equally profound. We would gain an unparalleled understanding of animal emotions, their complex social structures, and their cognitive abilities. The inner lives of creatures we once considered simple would be revealed as rich and intricate, challenging every preconceived notion we held about intelligence and sentience. The immediate and dramatic shift in ethical considerations would be nothing short of a moral earthquake. Our entire moral landscape, built upon assumptions of human exceptionalism, would crumble and be rebuilt from the ground up. The very definition of what it means to be a moral agent would be irrevocably altered. Consider animal agriculture. If a cow could articulate its fear, its pain, its desire to live, the current practices of factory farming would become morally indefensible. The impossibility of continuing such operations, once animals could plead for their lives, would force a complete overhaul of our food systems. Hunting and fishing, activities often justified by tradition or necessity, would face intense scrutiny. How could one justify taking a life when the prey could express its terror, its suffering, its family bonds? The thrill of the chase would be replaced by the chilling reality of a sentient being begging for mercy. The debate surrounding animal experimentation would intensify beyond measure. If laboratory animals could articulate their suffering, their discomfort, and their desire for freedom, the ethical lines would blur into an undeniable moral imperative. The cries of a mouse would carry the same weight as the pleas of a human. The societal impact would be nothing short of revolutionary, sparking legal battles, political movements, and cultural shifts that would redefine human civilization. Every aspect of our collective existence would be touched by this profound change. New political parties would inevitably emerge, dedicated solely to animal rights, gaining significant power as the voices of the animal kingdom resonated with the human populace. Imagine a parliament where the concerns of the rainforest or the ocean depths were directly represented. Landmark court cases would establish unprecedented legal precedents, leading to new animal rights laws and even constitutional amendments. The concept of personhood might expand to encompass certain animal species, granting them protections previously reserved for humans. Economic disruption would be widespread and unavoidable. Industries reliant on animal exploitation, such as meat production, fur farming, and even certain pharmaceutical sectors, would face existential crises. Entire economies would need to pivot, finding new ethical ways to sustain themselves. Our cultural landscape would undergo a complete rewriting. Art, literature, and music would be transformed, infused with animal perspectives and stories, offering new narratives and challenging anthropocentric viewpoints. Imagine novels penned from the perspective of a migrating bird, or symphonies inspired by the complex communication of whales. Yet, let us not be so naive as to imagine a utopia. The ability for animals to speak would also usher in significant risks and potential dangers, revealing the darker facets of both human and animal nature. This new world would be fraught with complexities. Communication barriers would inevitably arise. Despite sharing a common language, species-specific ways of thinking, perceiving the world, and expressing emotions would lead to profound misunderstandings. A cat's concept of ownership or a bird's understanding of freedom might be utterly alien to human comprehension. The specter of speciesism and prejudice would not simply vanish, it might merely evolve. New hierarchies could emerge based on perceived intelligence, usefulness, or even the eloquence of a particular species. Discrimination could take on new insidious forms, creating fresh divisions. The risk of exploitation and manipulation would be ever present. Humans, with their historical propensity for dominance, might seek to leverage animal communication for their own agendas, turning animal voices into tools for profit or power. The temptation to control would be immense. Security risks would become a chilling reality. Imagine the potential for espionage, sabotage, or even warfare utilizing talking animals. A flock of birds could report troop movements, or a pack of wolves could relay sensitive information, turning the natural world into an unwitting network of informants. Perhaps the most poignant loss would be the loss of innocence. The mystery and romanticized view of the animal kingdom, once a source of wonder and awe, might diminish. The silent, majestic creatures of our imagination would become vocal, opinionated, and perhaps disappointingly human-like in their concerns. How precisely would animals learn to speak? This question opens a fascinating speculative avenue, with several possibilities vying for plausibility. Each scenario presents its own set of scientific and philosophical challenges. Perhaps genetic engineering would be the catalyst, a deliberate human intervention to activate dormant linguistic pathways or introduce new ones. This could involve modifying genes responsible for vocalization or cognitive processing, a monumental undertaking with unpredictable consequences. Alternatively, nanotechnology could play a role, with microscopic devices integrating into animal brains or vocal cords, facilitating communication. These tiny machines could act as universal translators or even enhance existing animal communication into human comprehensible language. A more mystical yet equally compelling idea is a sudden collective consciousness shift, a global awakening where all species simultaneously gain the capacity for complex language. This might be triggered by an unknown cosmic event or an evolutionary leap beyond our current understanding. Or perhaps it would be a gradual evolutionary shift, accelerated by environmental pressures or a latent potential within the animal kingdom. Over generations, subtle vocalizations could develop into complex syntax, driven by the need for more sophisticated interspecies communication. Regardless of the mechanism, the challenge of interspecies communication would be immense. Developing new dictionaries, grammars, and communication protocols for the diverse languages of the animal kingdom would require unprecedented linguistic and technological innovation. We would need to learn to listen, truly listen, in ways we never have before. The advent of talking animals would undoubtedly spur astounding breakthroughs across numerous scientific and technological fields. The sheer volume of new data and perspectives would ignite an era of unparalleled innovation. Artificial intelligence would be indispensable for translation and understanding, processing the myriad animal languages and dialects. AI systems would become the ultimate interspecies interpreters, bridging the communication gap and helping us decipher complex animal thoughts. Biomedical engineering would flourish as animal insights lead to new drugs and therapies, perhaps even cures for diseases that have plagued humanity. Imagine a dolphin sharing its natural antibiotic compounds, or a snake revealing the secrets of its venom's medicinal properties. Robotics would evolve to facilitate seamless animal interaction and conservation efforts. Drones could communicate directly with migrating birds, and robotic companions could assist injured animals, all guided by direct feedback from the creatures themselves. Space exploration could be profoundly impacted. A new understanding of communication, derived from interspecies dialogue, might offer fresh perspectives on searching for and interpreting extraterrestrial signals. Perhaps animals could even offer insights into alien biology or planetary conditions. Sustainable technologies would be informed by animal knowledge, leading to more harmonious coexistence with nature. Animals could guide us to truly sustainable practices, revealing ecological efficiencies and resource management techniques honed over millions of years of evolution. Beyond the scientific and societal shifts, the ability for animals to speak would force a profound introspection, compelling humanity to re-evaluate its place and its relationship with all living things. Our self-perception would be irrevocably altered. Key ethical questions would dominate public discourse. What constitutes animal rights in this new world? How do we define sentience and consciousness across such a vast spectrum of life? What is the intrinsic value of a life that can articulate its own worth? The future of humanity would hinge on our ability to define our role and responsibility for the well-being of all species. Would we rise to the challenge of becoming true stewards, or would we succumb to the temptation of further exploitation? This would be our ultimate test. In this imagined future, the legacy of talking animals would be a new era for life on Earth. We would envision a more compassionate society, one built on deeper understanding and mutual respect. A sustainable planet would emerge, guided by the wisdom of its oldest inhabitants. New forms of creativity would blossom, inspired by the rich tapestry of animal experiences and perspectives. It would be a world both familiar and utterly alien, a testament to the power of communication. So we've journeyed through a world where animals speak, a world of both immense opportunity and daunting challenges. Is it a utopia, a dystopia, or something far more complex? The answers, perhaps, lie in our own capacity for empathy and adaptation. What are your thoughts on this extraordinary possibility? Do you foresee more challenges or more opportunities? Share your wildest speculations and your deepest concerns in the comments below. If this thought experiment has sparked your curiosity, please consider giving this video a like, sharing it with fellow curious minds, and subscribing to our channel for more explorations into the unknown. Don't forget to ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. And tell us, what other impossible questions should we tackle next? Until then, keep wondering, keep questioning, and keep listening.